Hey guys, how's it going? This is Hugo from Boulder Training Mecca. Want to welcome you back to another edition of product reviews. Today I'm gonna talk about Newton, baby. The new Newton BOCO AT. So BOCO stands for Boulder, Colorado All-Terrain. Rather than telling you about the features and the things that I like and I don't like, I want to compare this shoe with the Motion 3 Newton. Why am I doing this? Basically because of two things. One is that the Newton Motion 3 is by far my favorite shoe for road running. I've been running on Newton since 2008 and they're my go-to shoe, so I'm really familiar with it. And two, shoes, yes, they're both Newton. They have a lot of similarities, but they also have several differences. So we'd like to talk about that a little bit more. Let's first start with the Motion 3. They now have 5 lugs versus previous versions, they had only 4. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The addition of a 5th lug is supposed to align with your 5 metatarsal bones of your foot. By aligning the bones with each lug, you will have a better running experience, more stability, and better support. The lugs, they now have treads here, and they're supposed to help you when you're running on surfaces that are wet. Now let me show you the BOCOs. Here's the outsole. Okay, something that you notice here is that these shoes still have 4 lugs. Okay, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 5 lugs like the new Motion 3 or any of the other shoes from the latest generation. But something that you'll notice here, this shoe has lateral lugs. Let me take a 1 and 2. So 4 lugs in the middle and 2 lateral lugs. Something that's also different from the Motion 3 is that it has multi-directional lugs. This one, for instance, is going up. This one is going down. So this is supposed to give you better grip when you're running on trails. Newton's technology is called action-reaction. And the way it works is basically when you're running, once the lugs hit the ground, you're going to engage with an internal membrane that's going to make these lugs to get into hollow chambers. And as a result of that, it's going to release an energy which is basically the pop feel that you're really familiar with when you run with Newtons. So that's called the action-reaction technology. The action-reaction technology with the BOCO AT is different than the one in a shoe like the Motion 3. You remember that I mentioned that with the Motion 3, the lugs, they actually interact with hollow chambers. Well, with the BOCO, those chambers are actually filled with an EVA cushioning, which is some kind of foam. That's a big difference. I've tested both shoes on roads and I definitely like the Motion 3 the best. I can feel the ride is much smoother. My running stride is much more efficient. Sometimes it feels effortless. Whereas with the BOCO AT, the ride is definitely a little bit bumpy. Of course, in my opinion, these shoes are not really meant to be worn on roads. You want to wear these shoes on conditions that are more rugged, such as trails, when the weather is definitely colder. With the Motion 3, something new that these shoes have now is this piece called EMB, which Newton calls Extended Medial Bridge, which is basically an extra piece of midsole that's been added to bridge the gap that previous shoes had between the lugs and the heel. The idea of adding this EMB for this kind of shoe is to provide more stability. With the BOCO AT, there's no such EMB material here. You can see very clearly that there's a gap between the section of the lugs and this part of the heel. This is the upper for the Motion 3. You can see that it's really breathable. Something that I really like about this model versus previous one is that the fabric of this section of the shoe is definitely feels more softer, and even more lighter than previous versions. So really nice job from Newton on improving this section of the shoe. And also these parts of the shoe as well, these lateral sections of the shoe, they're really stretchy, they're really breathable as well. Let me show you the upper of the BOCO first. Here, take a look at it, okay? Take a look at this one and compare it versus this one. These shoes are more intended to be worn in conditions that are more extreme than with this one. So for instance, if it's really cold day, or you know that you're gonna be running on trails that are, you know, covered with water or snow or ice, this is the shoe that you wanna wear. This upper is awesome. I've been running on this shoe for a lot of miles and I've never had any issues with getting my feet wet or getting my feet cold. So these shoes, they do a fantastic job at protecting my feet, especially when I'm running in really cold conditions. Really nice job from Newton on this upper section. Similar to what I mentioned with the Motion 3, this side panels are really stretchy, breathable. The overlay of the new Motion 3, as you can see it here, the overlay is this section that goes here and here, is now heat welded. Previous models of Newton shoes, like this Distance S, had their overlays stitched. Right here you see there's stitches here, stitches here. The idea of using an overlay that doesn't have stitches is to provide a softer and smoother feel on this section of the shoe. In the case of the BOCO AT, this overlay section, they still have stitches. Still uses the old technology in this shoe. One is the inside. Something that I've always liked about these shoes, especially the newer versions. The materials that I use for the inside of the shoe are definitely softer and smoother. The feel of the shoe against my feet feels really nice, soft, but still very responsive. Toe box, that's something that I really liked about the shoe, is that the shoe is definitely roomy, has plenty of space. I don't know if I said this before, but I have wide feet. Always look for a shoe where I can feel comfortable, whether I'm running a few miles or several hours. So this is something that, one of my favorite features of the Newton product line. Drop is the same for both shoes, 3 millimeters. The first one, and this is probably my favorite feature, is that these shoes, they're gonna keep your feet warm and dry. I really like the fabric that they use in the upper. Also the fact that they have a coating that it's water resistant. I've been running on trails with several conditions. They're covered with snow, with ice, mud, all kinds of debris, and this shoe does a fantastic job at making your feet feel comfortable. Your feet are not gonna get wet. Shoe fit definitely has a really nice and snug feel once you try the shoes on. Feel that the shoe kind of hugs my feet. There's no particular point of the shoe where I feel any kind of tightness. I really like this part of the shoe, which is a toe box, especially for people like me. I have wide feet. This section of the shoe is really comfortable. There's plenty of room. I'm loving this side panels. They stretch really well. They're made with a really nice breathable fabric. 3, the cushioning. I think that this shoe has the right amount of cushioning, especially if you're gonna be running on different kinds of trails. I can feel that once I wear these shoes, I feel super comfortable and confident. Feel that, hey, I can definitely go on all different types of trails, go up, down. 4, the action-reaction technology. Even though I get it, this shoe doesn't offer the same pop sensation than the Motion 3. At least for me, when I'm running on trails, I don't necessarily need to have that pop sensation as when I am running on roads. Because when I'm running on trails, all I want to do really is to have a shoe that protects my feet, makes me feel comfortable, has a good cushioning, and also the fact that it still has the action-reaction technology and it has the lugs here. It always reminds me of an efficient and good running stride. And 5, I really like the lateral panels. They definitely provide a little extra stability, a little extra grip, especially when you're running on different types of technical trails. When I first saw the shoe and I noticed how the new outsole looked like, I thought, wow, these new lateral lugs, awesome. You could see the lugs, they now have treads, and also the fact that, you know, the lugs, they were placed in multiple directions. I thought, wow, I'm gonna be able to run in any kind of trail. At least for me, that's not true. I wouldn't say it's 99% true. If you're gonna be running on trails that are covered with ice, you're still gonna need some kind of traction. The first time that I wore this shoe, I went on a long run and there was a section where that was covered with ice and I fell down a couple times. If you know that you're gonna run on trails that are covered with ice, I recommend you to still bring some kind of traction, whether it's micro spikes or, you know, using your own screws or whatever, but you're gonna need some kind of traction. Previously mentioned that I like the lateral panels here. The thing that I don't like is that these guys are starting to wear out really fast, especially this one, at least for me. Take a look at it. I hope that once they wear out, they'll still keep giving me some good stability. I really like this shoe. Overall, I'm really familiar with Newtons. The only thing that, as I said before, I don't like is that you're still gonna need some kind of traction, especially if you're gonna be running on trails that are covered with ice. Running on trails that are covered with mud, with snow, water, doesn't matter. They're going to do great. Thank you for watching this product review on the new Newton BOCO AT. Hope that you like it. If you have any question or feedback, please send me an email at bouldertrainingmecca@gmail.com, and I'll see you in another video of Boulder Training Mecca here in Boulder, Colorado, baby. Bye.